Is there a purpose of our existence on this planet? Is there a real reason why we have come into life onto this planet called as Earth, the blue planet, filled with water, a lot of water around. 75% of the planet is water. 70%, more than 70% of Earth is actually water. So I was asking this question way back, many years back, trying to figure out what is the real reason of my existence. Is it just to study, go to the next level, study, then again down, then go to college, do a professional degree, and once you do a professional degree, enter and work for a company. That's a job. Is that our only reason? Is our profession our only reason of us getting up the next day morning? Is it something which you have ever wondered about? I have always been wondering about, and I had come across this framework which beautifully guides one to identify the purpose of their existence. And well, let me warn you that it's a patient search as well. It's not something which you can quickly grab within a day, or it might just come within a minute upon using the framework, or you just know it, so you can just skip the video. If you already know the purpose of your existence, great. If you don't know the purpose of your existence, please continue watching forward. I'm going to share this framework to you, or you could read the book Ikigai. It's a wonderful book. You can find it on Amazon. You can buy the book. I'm not promoting the book, but it's something which has helped me identify the purpose of my existence on this very planet. I'm not saying that I have nailed it probably, but I'm sure that I have some direction, I have some framework which I can use to identify the purpose and try those purpose of existence, and finally just nail it totally. So let me help you identify your purpose of existence. I'm not a life coach. You can call me a financial coach maybe, because I help people understand, analyze financial statements of company and then do investments into quality companies. This is what I help people, because this is what came out as this framework, out of the framework, to identify my own Ikigai. By the way, Ikigai is to understand your innermost reason of your existence. There could be multiple reasons of existence. Right? The motto of everybody is finally is to help people. But in what to help people is something which we normally struggle at. And the purpose should not always be money, isn't it? The purpose of doing something for others should not always be money, but it should be, the motto has to be to help, and the outcome of it could be money. So let me share this framework to you. It's a beautiful framework. It's a 4-stage framework, and the first stage in the framework is to identify what you love doing. What you love doing absolutely. And when I say love doing absolutely, you shouldn't leave the trivial stuff, something which keeps you occupied and you forget the world. That takes the topmost in the list. It makes you forget the world, somebody calling you out your name and you just immersed into that activity, you just forget when you do that stuff. There could be multiple things, or you just that whenever you do that stuff, you just get immersed into whatever you're doing, then you just list down everything. So once you have listed down every aspect of whatever you love doing, the next aspect what you need to do, as mentioned in the framework, it's not my framework, it is the mentioned in the framework in Ikigai, and it is actually sourced by some other research, but nevertheless it is mentioned in the book. And the second step mentioned in the framework is to identify what you're good at. Well, then the question goes is like, okay, I'm good at something, but it's not something what I love. But there may be something which you're not good at, but you're willing to learn and you love doing it. Well, these aspects also need to be considered, because if you're willing to put effort in something which you love doing, but you're not yet ready or not yet skilled, then believe me guys, you will put all your attention and focus and you'll forget the world doing it. So that gives the highest weightage, not what you're already good at already, and it might be something what you don't love doing that much. So that is the second aspect. The third aspect is to identify what you love doing and what you're good at, or what you wish to be good at, whether people need that particular kind of activity or service or product. So once you find out whether people really need it, when I say people really need it, it could be that at that particular point of time, or that particular month and year in the period, people have not known about such kind of a product or service. They haven't even imagined about it. And once you probably share the information of what you're good at, and that market is not yet developed, it might just turn out that once they get to know about it, it forms a need. It becomes a product which is people want it finally. We have built a new market. So don't give up in case you just find out that people are not in need yet. Well, of course, your first preference is always to do something, whatever is need. Otherwise, you burn your effort and you have no takers of a product or service. And then the fourth aspect mentioned in the book is that whether people are willing to pay for it. Of course, if you have a real purpose identified, then no matter, people would always be willing to pay. Unless it's charity. If you are starting a home for the aged, then you will need crowdfunding anyway. You will anyway need capital. People should be willing to pay for your purpose, which is actually charity work. And there are people who want to help a genuine need. If it's a genuine purpose, if it's a non-profit organization, and of course you also need to earn your bread and butter because you're handling the organization as a non-profit. So obviously you need the crowdfunding so that to help your purpose. So these are the four aspects mentioned in the book. Now the few things which I would like to mention additionally what is mentioned in the book and which could help you is that what you love doing and what you're good at, that boundary is passion. And what you are good at and what people pay for is what usually forms your profession. Then what you love doing and what people pay for is what people want or what people need against what you love doing is what forms your mission. And then finally what people need and what people pay for would be your vocation. So these are the four additional aspects which was mentioned in the book, you guys. And once you identify all these aspects and once you have given it some weightage out of your own study, then the topmost score which you get after you add up or sum up all of these figures, that is your most highest purpose in life. So there could be more than one purposes in life, but nevertheless, if you have identified at least one, just nail one of it and then go ahead out of the world, across the social media, mention your mission so that when you wake up next day you have some reason, you have something additional more than your profession to do. Or it could just turn out that your profession and your passion have a wonderful merger and it is the ikigai. By the way, even I had this multiple purposes which came on the score when I was doing this analysis. The first one, second one and the third one, all these three had almost similar scores. Just 1 point difference between the second and third, and the first and the second was equal, where the first one was actually about helping people elevate their financial position, helping them build their wealth through investing, and then the second one was actually my profession, something which I love doing anyway and something which really keeps me going on, because when I do it really on hands-on, it makes me forget the world. It's about helping organizations build quality applications so that the end user have a delightful experience. this is what delights me. I just want to make the application so robust, so wonderful to use, that people say, wow, there's not a single flaw in the flow, in the words which is being used, and it's so user friendly. Wow, I just love it like an apple. I like every product, if there's a reason to be as robust as an Apple product. They have a purpose, right? They defy the odds. And the third which came for me was cooking and driving very closely matching. So that's something which maybe I'll later on take on. But you could also come across matching scores. So do not worry, at least try one, so that once you try, then you can go to the next to see what gives you most joy, most happiness, because that is going to be your ikigai. If you have loved this video, share to as many people as you can. Share it. When I say as many people, don't randomly share it to everybody. Please share it to your close people, share it to your friends and relatives, so that they can get their own reason and their own purpose of life. Once you have found it, do not share it otherwise. See you.